The heavens were never silent. They merely waited for the moment when blood fate and illusion would intertwine. On that day, an ancient Tao descended in human form, and with her arrival, the balance of an entire star system began to fracture. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. The southern region of planet Thousand Illusion belonged to the Huan family. Within this land lay a profound abyss known as the Illusion Moon Pool, the sacred site where the bloodline ritual would be performed. The water within the pool had long since been taken away by the Huan family's ancestor, leaving behind nothing but a vast bottomless pit carved into the earth. At this moment, the ancestor hovered above it, his expression solemn and grave. Below him stood tens of thousands of members of the Huan family. Not a single voice could be heard. Within dozens of kilometers, the world itself seemed to have fallen silent. One by one, clan members stepped forward to the edge of the pit. Each cut open an arm, allowing their blood to pour forth. When enough blood had been shed, their faces turned deathly pale, and they retreated in silence, expressions heavy and gloomy. As this continued, blood gradually accumulated within the pit. The dark crimson liquid exuded a dense, suffocating scent, spreading outward and enveloping the land. Even the blood of tens of thousands was not enough to fill the pit completely, yet it still formed an immense pool. At last, only the Huan family's ancestor remained. Without hesitation, he sliced open his wrist, releasing a vast amount of blood. More than anyone else, he gave of himself. His complexion steadily paled, until finally he withdrew his hand, formed a seal, and spoke softly. "Melt." At his command, a vortex appeared within the pool, slowly revolving. The blood of tens of thousands began to merge, fusing together until it could no longer be distinguished as separate streams. The bloodline ritual refined the purest essence of Huan family blood from tens of thousands of clan members, transforming it into 1,000 blood runes. These runes would be imprinted upon a single individual, after which all the blood within that person's body would be extracted and replaced. The ancestor's eyes gleamed with unfathomable depth as he spoke in a low, solemn voice. "Hai Mei, stepfather." Liu Mei stepped out from the crowd. Dressed in white, she radiated an air of purity and sanctity, like a figure untouched by the mortal world. The ancestor spoke slowly. "Enter the blood pool and cultivate with complete focus." Liu Mei nodded and walked toward the pit. As she entered the pool naked, the overwhelming stench of blood surged toward her. She frowned faintly, yet without hesitation stepped forward. The blood gradually submerged her first, her knees, then her waist, her chest, until finally, her entire body disappeared beneath the surface. Within the pool, only the rotating vortex remained. There was no sign of Liu Mei. The ancestor drew a deep breath, then rapidly formed seals with his hands. Countless seals shot forth and plunged into the blood pool. A powerful aura erupted from his body and spread outward like a vast tide. As his speed increased, the blood pool began to boil violently, and the vortex spun ever faster. After a long while, the ancestor's eyes suddenly shone with fierce brilliance as he shouted. Long ago, the ancestor of the Huan family was a celestial of the Thunder Celestial Realm. Though the Celestial Realm was destroyed, the bloodline endures. Today, this bloodline ritual shall refine the Huan blood and give birth to another pillar of my Huan family's future glory. A complex incantation poured from his lips. The instant it left his mouth, it transformed into countless imprints that plunged into the blood pool. Bloodline appear. The blood pool abruptly froze, then erupted with a thunderous roar. The entire pool surged upward, forming a towering pillar of blood. In the next instant, the pillar collapsed, shattering into countless blood runes that hovered in the air. At the center of the pit sat Liu Mei, seated cross-legged in a lotus position, eyes tightly shut. The ancestor inhaled deeply. Forming a seal with his right hand, he pointed toward Liu Mei. Instantly, a wound opened on her forehead, and blood began to flow without end. With each passing moment, her face grew paler. At that moment, a single blood rune descended from the sky and branded itself onto her body. Immediately after, countless more followed, raining down like a crimson storm. Soon, nearly every inch of Liu Mei's body was covered in blood runes. The ancestor narrowed his eyes and stepped forward, appearing before her. He raised his right hand, within which a mysterious light emerged. That light shifted through tens of thousands of transformations. Anyone who gazed upon it would witness every possibility of their life, from birth to death, from love to hatred, from sickness to obsession, all unfolding within an endless illusion. This was the Huan family ancestors' Tao, the 10,000 illusion identityless Tao. He pressed his palm against Liu Mei's forehead. His vast Tao surged directly into her origin soul. At the same time, his celestial spiritual energy poured into her without restraint, forcefully raising her cultivation. The amount of energy required to reach the peak of the ascendant stage was unimaginably vast. No first-step cultivator could accomplish this. Not even those at the yin-yang stage could do so. Only cultivators who had truly stepped into the second stage possessed such heaven-defying power. The Huan family ancestor was precisely such a being, a second-step cultivator at the early stage of Nirvana Scrya. Boundless celestial spiritual energy and endless Tao fused together, flooding into Liu Mei's body. The ancestor's care for this disciple was unmistakable. Had he not intended for her to inherit the Huan family, he would never have been willing to damage his own cultivation to elevate hers. Liu Mei's body trembled violently. Suddenly, all the blood runes on her body surged inward, transforming into pure Huan family blood that coursed through her veins, forcibly expelling her original blood. At the same time, her origin soul shone with dazzling brilliance, growing stronger at a terrifying pace. Early ascendant, mid-ascendant, late ascendant, peak late-stage ascendant. Jealous gazes filled the eyes of the tens of thousands of Huan family members nearby. Their envy was justified. The ascendant realm was a towering bottleneck. How many cultivators spent thousands of years striving just to reach its peak? Yet Liu Mei had accomplished what countless others could not in less than half an incense stick's time. The ancestor's arm visibly withered, his figure suddenly aging. He staggered back several steps, the light in his eyes dimming. Gazing at Liu Mei, he spoke softly. "From this day forth, you are a true member of the Huan family. The Huan blood flows within you. Your father must now enter closed-door cultivation. During this time, you must strive to reach the yin-yang stage as swiftly as possible." Liu Mei turned and silently looked at him. She said nothing, only nodded. The 10,000 illusion heavenly devil Tao. The old man laughed softly. This old man truly wishes to see what changes it will undergo at the second step. He waved his sleeve and vanished. His voice echoed through the air. "Go to planet Ranyun. Jaime, this will be your first battle as a member of the Huan family. Slaughter a name for yourself." Liu Mei lifted her head. Without sparing a glance for the tens of thousands of clan members below, she rose into the sky like a celestial being. Her destination set upon planet Ranyun. She departed alone without attendants. Within a fissure deep underground, Wang Lin withdrew his gaze from the Moongazer serpent. Shock still lingered in his eyes. This Moongazer serpent stretches tens of thousands of feet. Its strength rivals that of Nirvana Scrya cultivators. However, without ancient gods present, its offensive abilities are limited. As long as I do not provoke it, it should remain in its first form. He pondered briefly. From the memories of the ancient god, Wang Lin knew that these parasites dwelling within ancient gods possessed three forms. The first was the one he had just seen, harmless and lacking offensive power. The second form occurred when all the hairs on its body retracted, allowing it to morph freely within the ancient god's body. This form usually indicated slumber. The third and most dangerous form appeared during an attack. Its hairs would extend outward, growing as long as its entire body. Encountering a Moongazer serpent in this state meant only one thing: run. As these thoughts passed through his mind, Wang Lin ventured deeper into the fissure. His divine sense spread outward, searching for the metal element vein. It is strange for a Moongazer serpent to appear here. This is not a creature I can afford to provoke. Best to ignore it and focus on the metal vein. His speed increased dramatically as he plunged deeper underground. Soon he reached a dead end, yet without hesitation he charged straight into the stone wall, his body phasing through as he descended using the earth escape technique. As he moved, Wang Lin frowned slightly. A viscous fluid seeped from the surrounding earth. Were it not for the protective layer of celestial spiritual energy around him, his body would already be coated in it. This place is strange. His eyes gleamed as his divine sense expanded further. From time to time he detected powerful fluctuations and carefully detoured around them. Eventually his divine sense swept across nearly the entire planet. Wang Lin's pupils suddenly contracted. At the deepest part of the planet lay a colossal metal vein stretching for countless kilometers. One end even protruded slightly from the surface on the opposite side of the world. This was how the Huan family had discovered it. Wang Lin's frown deepened. He did not act immediately but fell into contemplation. If this vein were hidden perfectly, it would make sense. But it is completely exposed. Any ascendant cultivator passing through would detect it instantly. Something is wrong. He examined the vein carefully but found nothing amiss. After a moment of silence, resolve flashed through his eyes. With a wave of his right hand, he tore apart the earth before him and charged straight into the deepest part of the metal vein. It did not take long before he arrived. What appeared before him was a massive vein shimmering with golden light, like a colossal dragon coiled around planet Xianxia. Wang Lin advanced cautiously. Ever since encountering the Moongazer serpent, a shadow had lingered over his heart, an unshakable sense that something here was not right. Why would a Moongazer serpent appear here? And why, when this metal vein lies completely exposed, has no one taken it all these years? One riddle after another surfaced in Wang Lin's mind. He stared at the vein, refusing to act rashly. Years of caution had forged in him the habit of questioning everything. There were simply too many mysteries here. A single careless step could plunge him into a crisis beyond imagination. Suppressing the urge in his heart to seize the metal vein at once, Wang Lin began to slowly circle it. The confusion in his mind only deepened. In his eyes, this metal vein was far too orderly. From beginning to end, it was almost perfectly uniform in thickness. If this were a naturally formed vein, it would be absolutely impossible for it to look like this. His gaze sharpened. This resembles long sections of bone far more than a vein. At that thought, Wang Lin abruptly halted. A strange light flickered in his eyes as turmoil surged through his heart. Bone. Could it be that this is not a vein at all, but the remains of some unknown existence? He sucked in a sharp breath. What kind of beast could possess bones that resemble a metal vein? After pondering briefly, Wang Lin continued along the length of the vein. Suddenly the ground trembled. In that instant, he sensed waves of powerful fluctuations surging in from all directions, each one traveling upward. Wang Lin instantly gathered all his celestial spiritual energy, horror filling his eyes. His divine sense remained spread out, and within it he clearly saw countless tentacles extending outward from the vein, burrowing into the earth. They pierced through the crust, emerging from cracks on the surface, before swaying gently in the open air. Wang Lin froze for a moment before lowering his head to stare at the metal vein beneath him. The strangeness in his gaze intensified. This scene feels familiar. As he stared, realization struck him like lightning. His eyes brightened as he muttered, "The entire planet is covered in tentacles. It looks as though the planet itself has grown hair." The second form of a Moongazer serpent occurs when all its hairs retract, placing it in a dormant state. His pupils contracted sharply. Could it be that this place, planet Xianxia itself, is an enormous Moongazer serpent? Wang Lin gasped, staring at the vein not far away. This isn't a metal vein at all. It truly is bone, but not the bone of any ordinary beast. It is the bone of a Moongazer serpent. A chill spread through his heart. If I had rashly taken this metal vein, I would have awakened it immediately. Death would have been inevitable. Even if it didn't fully awaken, it would only need a brief moment to kill anyone attempting to take its bone. Only now did Wang Lin fully understand why no powerful cultivator had dared to claim this treasure. It wasn't that they didn't desire it, they simply didn't dare. I believe others must have discovered this place before, but they all died. His eyes narrowed. In that sense, the Huan family member was extremely clever. He only took a small portion from the surface and left at once. Had he taken even slightly more, it would have stimulated the Moongazer serpent enough to awaken. There may also have been an element of luck. If it were someone else, even removing a tiny fragment might have been enough. Countless thoughts raced through Wang Lin's mind. He knew that the wisest choice was to leave immediately and never think of this place again. Yet as he looked at the vein, an intense unwillingness welled up within him. What I want is the entire bone. But the moment I attempt to take it, the Moongazer serpent will fully awaken. Once it enters its attack form, I will undoubtedly die. And yet, I am unwilling to give this up. Wang Lin let out a long sigh. Suddenly his eyes gleamed as memories surged forth from the ancient god inheritance. No one understands these parasites better than the ancient gods. That is my advantage. Moongazer serpents feed on the blood of ancient gods, and their tentacles are their most sensitive organs. His gaze grew deep as he murmured, "What method could allow me to take the bone?" Without awakening it, a mysterious light flickered in his eyes. Back when I devoured all those celestial ascension fruits, my consciousness was drowned in madness. Even if someone had taken my bones, then I doubt I would have noticed. If I can place this Moongazer serpent into an illusion while it remains dormant, then perhaps I can take its bone. After a moment of contemplation, Wang Lin cast one last reluctant glance at the vein and sighed. With a single step, he appeared above ground. He teleported through the air and reappeared outside planet Xianxia. The star compass emerged swiftly, carrying him away. From afar, Wang Lin turned back to look at planet Xianxia. Determination burned in his eyes. I must obtain that Moongazer serpent's bone. I can refine a drug to numb it, but I will need a massive quantity to place such a colossal serpent into an illusion. For anyone else, even devising such a method and acquiring enough of the drug would have been useless. A Moongazer serpent belonging to an ancient god would absorb nothing but ancient god blood unless commanded through ancient god tactics. Only Wang Lin possessed such a technique. As the silver dragon streaked across the stars, Wang Lin sat upon its back, his expression gloomy. This journey, which had taken several months, had yielded nothing. He had believed he could complete the heaven-defying bead, only for matters to end like this. Forget it. I have already waited more than 800 years. Waiting a little longer means nothing. As long as I obtain enough celestial ascension fruits to refine, I can always return. Still, I never expected to encounter such a massive Moongazer serpent. Just how many stars must that ancient god have traversed to carry something like this? And it has clearly been asleep for countless years. So long that even city ruins have formed upon its surface. Wang Lin's expression gradually softened as his thoughts drifted. A Moongazer serpent that has become a planet. Once it awakens, what kind of power will it possess? Even Ling Tianhu, the All-Seer, and the others would flee in terror. Unfortunately, it listens to no one but its master. Even if my original body were here, it would be useless. He smiled bitterly. Otherwise, if I could control it and lead it back to the Alliance star system, wouldn't that be a joyous event? Shaking his head, Wang Lin steered the star compass straight toward planet Ran Yun. Silver light flashed as planet Xianxia faded farther and farther into the distance. On planet Ran Yun, the Ran family's ancestor, carefree Sanren and Sun Shi, gazed toward the heavens, their expressions grim. A planet-sealing formation, Sun Shi said bitterly. Carefree Sanren shook his head. The Huan family would not normally act this way. If they had time to set up such a formation, they would have already descended upon planet Ran Yun. After a long silence, the Ran family's ancestor spoke heavily. I fear this was prepared for the Huan family ancestor's newly adopted daughter Liu Mei to display her might. The Huan family intends to annihilate our three families, Sun Shi said coldly. The formation is to prevent our escape. They won't succeed, the Ran ancestor replied. In recent years, the three of us secretly sent our most talented descendants away. As long as they live, our family's flames will not be extinguished. Carefree Sanren smiled bitterly. Unfortunately, our roots lie here. How could we uproot entire families in such a short time? Moving too hastily would have exposed everything long ago. Sun Si hesitated. Perhaps fellow cultivator Shu Mu will return. Humph. The Ran ancestor snorted. If he doesn't come back once we are captured, I'll drag him into this no matter what. How can he take all those celestial jades for free? He promised protection and fled at the moment of crisis. Despicable. Carefree Sanren fell silent. Sun Si sighed. Even if he returns, what can he do? The Huan family ancestor has already stepped into the second stage. Who could stop him? Rumor has it the Huan family once had two such ancestors. One died during the battle for the Thunder Celestial Realm. Even weakened, the remaining one is enough to make resistance meaningless. The three of them stood in silence, regret heavy in their hearts. This was karma born of events 4 years past. Suddenly, the Ran ancestors' expression changed. They've arrived. Sun Si and Carefree Sanren looked up. A sense of imminent danger descended from the sky, darkening their expressions further. Powerful fluctuations rippled through the heavens as overwhelming pressure pressed down upon planet Ran Yun. Outside the planet, Liu Mei descended clad in white. Passing through the planet-sealing formation, she spread her divine sense and locked onto the three below. Her expression was calm, like still water, as she slowly approached. Brother Sun, Brother Zhao, the Ran ancestor said softly, battle intent blazing in his eyes. The three of us have fought our entire lives. Since all matters are settled, why not fight with everything we have? Even in death, we will have no regrets. Brother Ran speaks heroically. Carefree Sanren laughed. Since you burn your soul, I shall accompany you. Sun Si smiled faintly, his gaze resolute. Cultivating my entire life means daring to challenge the heavens themselves. How could I retreat now? Monstrous battle intent erupted from the three of them like towering flames igniting across planet Ran Yun. Though soul-burning cultivators could not produce a literal signal flare, their battle intent was tens, hundreds, even thousands of times more intense. That intent reached its peak when Liu Mei's graceful figure appeared. She descended from the heavens, gazing calmly at the three as she murmured, burning their origin souls. Her voice was gentle, like a spring breeze brushing across the earth, yet within it lay an unfathomable, mysterious force. Carefree Sanren stared at Liu Mei in the sky. The flames in his eyes slowly dimmed, replaced by a trace of fanaticism. Looking at Liu Mei, who descended from the heavens like a celestial being, not only Carefree Sanren, even Sun Si lost his battle intent. A violent struggle erupted within his heart as his will began to collapse. Only the Ran family's ancestor, whose cultivation had reached the mid-stage ascendant realm, barely managed to keep his mind clear. Even so, it was only a matter of time. In his consciousness, the woman's voice from the sky sounded like a divine melody. Each word seeped into his mind, stirring even the faintest trace of mortal emotion. 10,000 illusion ruthless domain. The Ran family's ancestors' expression changed drastically. Flames ignited within his body, born from the fusion of his origin soul and origin energy. In that instant, his cultivation surged forward in violent leaps. He let out a thunderous roar that rolled across the heavens, shaking the sky and earth alike. Sun Shi's eyes regained a shred of clarity, terror flooding his heart. Only now did he realize that just moments ago, he had felt as though he were facing someone he loved deeply, someone he could never bring himself to harm. Liu Mei's expression remained calm as she drew closer. She spoke softly, her voice gentle and indifferent. The three of you are not my match. Come back with me to the Huan family, and you may yet have a chance to live. The Ran family's ancestor, now completely engulfed in flames, stepped forward. Forming a seal, he slammed his palm downward. Instantly, the Ran family's palm thunder manifested, lightning erupting from his hand and tearing straight toward Liu Mei. Liu Mei revealed a faintly helpless expression and casually brushed aside a strand of hair. Her jade-like finger extended forward, a flicker of ruthlessness flashing in her eyes. The instant her fingertip touched the lightning, it trembled violently, then dissipated into nothingness. She spoke softly, almost kindly. "Since you have chosen to burn your souls, then burn them a little more thoroughly." The moment those words fell, the fanaticism in carefree Sanren's eyes intensified. Obsession consumed him completely. In his vision, heaven and earth vanished, only the figure of the woman before him remained. Without hesitation, he stepped forward and blocked the Ran family's ancestor. His origin soul ignited violently. This was not merely the burning of his soul, but also of his physical body. "And you as well." Liu Mei's gaze shifted and settled upon Sun Shi. Sun Shi had only just managed to suppress his heart, but the moment her voice reached him, his restraint shattered. His body trembled as fanaticism overtook his eyes, mirroring carefree Sanren's madness. Without the slightest hesitation, he burned both his origin soul and his body, exchanging everything for a fleeting moment of peak power. His finger transformed into a sword as he pointed it mercilessly toward the Ran family's ancestor. The Ran family's ancestor let out a sorrowful smile. "Zhao Chuanwen, Sun Shi, I truly feel pity for the two of you." But carefree Sanren and Sun Shi heard nothing. They unleashed their spells without pause, plunging into a desperate battle against the Ran family's ancestor. Thunder roared, spells flashed, and the earth trembled as the sky darkened. Their bodies rapidly dissipated. Yet with every fragment that vanished, their power only grew stronger. Like madmen, they fought the Ran family's ancestor with everything they had left. Liu Mei revealed a faint smile. She truly did not need to bring attendance. As long as she existed, there would always be countless cultivators willing to fight and die for her. This was the 10,000 illusion heavenly devil Dao. Everything in the world could be turned into a weapon. That was why the Huan family's ancestor had been willing to pay such a heavy price to perform the bloodline ritual for Liu Mei to witness the power this Dao would wield upon reaching the second step. The entire planet shook as though struck by a cataclysm. Deafening rumbles echoed endlessly from beneath the ground. Despair filled the Ran family's ancestor's heart. He too began burning his body, forcing out every last trace of power. As both his origin soul and body burned, his cultivation skyrocketed, reaching the might of a late-stage ascendant cultivator, though without a domain. His power rose too quickly for his domain to follow, rendering him only a pseudo-late-stage ascendant. Even so, his strength was terrifying. He roared as his body rapidly disintegrated. His hands formed seals, then slammed together as a dazzling golden light erupted. This was not a spell, but the purest manifestation of origin energy. When he spread his hands apart, the golden light shot out in all directions like countless sharp blades. At that moment, Sun Shi and carefree Sanren were on the verge of complete dissolution. Only half of their bodies remained, the rest had vanished into the void. The fanaticism in their eyes reached its peak. Without hesitation, the two chose self-destruction. Boom. Boom. The self-destruction of ascendant cultivators, burning both soul and body, unleashed a catastrophe upon planet Ran Yun. The sky seemed to collapse. The earth split apart. Vast seas surged hundreds of feet into the air before crashing down like the planet itself was raging in fury. Spirit veins ignited like gunpowder, exploding one after another under the shockwaves. Sun Shi and carefree, Sanren's origin souls and bodies vanished completely. Even in death, they never regained clarity. At the center of the devastation stood the Ran family's ancestor. Though he managed to withstand the blast with his immense cultivation, his body was drenched in blood. His bloodshot eyes locked onto Liu Mei, who remained perfectly calm. He snarled, "Disgusting bitch. This battle was between you and me. Why did you involve the mortals and destroy this planet?" Liu Mei smiled faintly. Her voice was soft and unhurried. "I haven't attacked at all. The three of you were fighting among yourselves. What does that have to do with me?" The Ran family's ancestor threw back his head and laughed a laugh filled with despair and sorrow. Tears streamed from the corners of his eyes as he gazed upon the ruined world below. This is my home. His face twisted with bitterness as he looked at Liu Mei and spoke each word clearly. I ran Xuefeng curse you with my remaining cultivation to die without a grave. And know this, the one who killed Huan Dong was not the three of us. There is another man, Mu. As he spoke, he slammed his right hand against his forehead. A cracking sound rang out as his burning origin soul shattered, spreading through his body. Slowly, under Liu Mei's indifferent gaze, his body disintegrated into dust and drifted to the ground. I was born on Ran Yun, and I will die on Ran Yun. All I can do is protect this planet with my life. His voice turned venomous. Mu, you despicable man, I curse you to die together with Huan Mei. Liu Mei's eyes remained cold, untouched by emotion. She glanced down at the land below and stepped toward the ground. The Ran family, the Zhao family, and the Sun family must be eradicated. This is Master's will. It has nothing to do with me. She paused. As for that Mu, he is somewhat strange. She suddenly frowned. Her divine sense swept outward and halted at the far southern edge of the planet. A clone, Liu Mei chuckled softly. Interesting. That Sun cultivator has one. That means the Ran ancestor and the Zhao cultivator likely have clones as well. The clone was extremely well hidden. If not for the fluctuation released at the moment the main body perished, Liu Mei would never have noticed it. In a southern city on planet Ran Yun, a young man sat alone inside a house. He looked exactly like Sun Shi, his face filled with bitterness. 4 years ago, after realizing the grave mistake they had made in killing a Huan family member, the three of them had devoted all their efforts to refining clones. These clones were weak, incapable of battle, but they were a way to survive. The Ran family's ancestor had secretly refined his clone for hundreds of years. 2 years ago, it had already left the planet with other clan members. Carefree Sanran lacked the ability to split his origin soul, so he could not refine a clone, but he had other means, known only to himself. Sun Shi's clone, however, was only at the core formation stage and could not leave the planet. He had intended to seek Wang Lin's help, but before he could ask, Wang Lin had refused, and this matter was too sensitive. After hesitating, Sun Shi chose silence. Otherwise, if Mu discovered that all three of them had their own methods of survival and were merely using him as a scapegoat, no amount of celestial jades would have convinced him. Worse still, Mu might have attacked them outright. Liu Mei teleported to the southern region of planet Ran Yun. Just as she was about to step into the city, she suddenly snapped her head upward toward the sky. For the first time, a profound and mysterious light filled her eyes. This aura, a streak of silver light cut through the stars arriving outside planet Ran Yun. Wang Lin sat atop the star compass. He had accepted the celestial jades, so he would at least honor his promise. Otherwise, there would have been no reason for him to return. His expression was calm at first. Then he saw the massive ceiling formation encasing the planet. His eyes narrowed as he stood up, staring at the restriction with a sharp gaze. When I left, this restriction did not exist. Wang Lin was deeply versed in restrictions. Though he could not break it quickly, he could pass through it without causing damage. After a brief pause, the star compass surged forward, piercing the restriction and flying straight toward planet Ran Yun. On the planet below, Liu Mei slowly raised her head. The mysterious light in her eyes grew even deeper. That's all for today's content. See you in the next part. Support me by becoming a member. It will give me more motivation. Thank you so much.